Simply Christianity by John Dixon. Part 1, Jesus Now and Then. Chapter 1, Which Christianity? The aeroplane had lost all power to its engines. As it plummeted towards Earth, the pilot announced to the terrified passengers, "I'm sorry, but there are 5 of us and only 4 parachutes. I'm the pilot, it's my plane, so I'm taking the first one." He promptly strapped on one of the parachutes and jumped out. Remaining on the aircraft were a young father, an elite scientist, a minister of religion, and a backpacker. The father stood up and said, "Look, I've got a young family to care for. I've got to take one of those parachutes." He threw it on his back and jumped out. The scientist immediately insisted, "I'm one of the greatest minds in this country, and I would be sorely missed. I have to take one of the parachutes." He put it on and jumped out. The minister turned to the backpacker and began to say, "Listen, my son, I have lived a long and happy life. Why don't you—" But the young man interrupted, "There's no need. That scientist just jumped out with my backpack on." It is easy to assume that you have the real thing, when in fact you only have a poor substitute. In a vaguely Christianized culture like ours is, it is all too easy to assume that our acceptance or rejection, or perhaps simply avoidance of the Christian faith, is based on a reasonable knowledge of the topic. I, for one, grew up supposing that the few bits and pieces I had accidentally picked up at school, through friends and in the media, were enough to arrive at the opinion that Christianity was nice for other people. I decided this without having once gone inside a church or read anything of the Bible, let alone opened a book such as this one. This book is written in the belief that it is just possible, based on my own experience at least, that the version of Christianity some of us have accepted, rejected, or avoided is not the real thing after all, but an inadequate substitute. The goal of this book, then, is to provide the reader with a clear explanation of real or normal Christianity. You can then decide whether or not the Christian parachute, as it were, is worth strapping onto the back. One of the common reasons people avoid looking into Christianity in any detail is the simple fact that there are so many Christianities out there to experience. There's Anglican Christianity, Presbyterian Christianity, Roman Catholic Christianity, Baptist Christianity, and the list goes on. Some of us look at all this and quite reasonably ask, if the Christians can't make up their mind about what they believe, what hope have I got? Let me make clear up front that this book does not focus on the teachings of a particular church or denomination, but on those facts about Jesus Christ that Christians throughout the last 2,000 years have generally agreed upon. It is not necessarily Anglican Christianity or Presbyterian Christianity or any other sort. It is simply Christianity. This means that the argumentation and hair-splitting that goes on between the major brands of Christianity will be deliberately sidestepped. This is not because those contentions are irrelevant. It's because this book is written for those of us who approach the subject from a distance, who want to look into the ancient faith with a telescope rather than a magnifying glass. So, if Christianity, minus the myths, rituals, and dogma, grabs your interest, perhaps this book will answer some of your questions. At its heart, Christianity is not a beautifully complex philosophical system like Buddhism, a towering code of morals like Islam, or a delicate set of rituals as some Christian churches have presented it. The crucial starting point for any discussion about this topic is the fact that Christianity, as the word suggests, is all about a person, Jesus Christ. In fact, Christianity may, and will in this book, be defined simply as responding appropriately to the news about Jesus Christ. This starting point takes the pressure off a little. It means that to grasp Christianity, you do not need to wrestle with an entirely new worldview or adopt a rigorous ethical framework or rehearse a set of foreign ceremonies. Learning about the Christian faith should be more like listening to someone tell a jolly good story, or perhaps more accurately, like tuning into an important news flash on the TV. This may sound odd, particularly if your previous experience of religion came in an ethical, philosophical, or ceremonial package. But, as the book unfolds, hopefully it will become clear.